morning, guys. I just thought sporadically that we should do a reading vlog because I'm about to start a bunch of new books for the spooky season, and I was like, why not do a reading vlog out of it? I have a big, let me show you my TBR for like the Burr months. So this is my TBR for the Burr month, okay? The next book from The Tempest of Tea, A Steeping of Blood by Hafsa Faizal. And I just finished this and I also met the author, so this was also really good and also has vampires and it's a little bit spooky, so it would be good for like, I don't know, I feel like it, look, it's personalized. It's my name there. Anyway, that's one option. I have Rewitched. I've seen a lot of people reading this. Seems like a cozy, witchy novel. Also has cute sprayed edges. This feels like more like a sitting at home drinking tea kind of read, so I don't think I'll take this. Then I also have this, which is People Watching. It's like a fall romance. Again, this feels the same. Sitting at home, maybe. Ooh, listen to this. Sprayed edges were still like stuck together and it was cracking. Oh, that was so satisfying. I'm not feeling romance because I just finished Totally and Completely Fine. This was just like a romance. So I don't know, I'm not feeling romance at the moment. I'm feeling something spooky. Bury Our Bones in the Midnight Soil by V. Schwab, but I feel like this is quite of a thick book to take into town. I don't know. We also have Strange Houses by Ketsu. It's the next novel after Strange People. What is it? Strange Pictures. I really love these. These are like mystery horror kind of. Old Soul by Susanna Barker. Sinister, mysterious, and gorgeously realized. This is supposed to be horror, I think. Then we have I Got This Scent, and honestly this might be the one that I'm picking up. It's called The Wax Child by Olga Ravn. The years passed and the years passed, and I was a wax child. I did not age. I lay in the ground and saw it all. I don't know, feels super interesting. And then I have I Who Have Never Known Men by Jacqueline Hartman. This has been, I actually been to the Hafsa Faizal event and one of the girls recommended this to me and I bought it because it seemed so up my alley. I don't know how she recommended this to me, but I was like, I'm buying this. 40 women are held in what appears to be an underground bunker where they have been for many years. They are controlled by male guards and the usual basic provisions of modernity. Electricity, food, water are available to them. Life continues for many years until one day a siren goes off. By a stroke of luck, the women are able to free themselves and they start out upon a mysterious world, gradually realizing horror after horror that they might be the last people on this alien seeming planet. Which one? I'm in between these three. Oh, I think I'm this one. I'll see you guys into town. I'm at a coffee shop and I hope this is not going to be too loud. So I'm a few pages in and I have a few things to tell you. First of all, am I the only one? I feel like this is so wrong on so many levels, but because I've been a reader for so long, when I come into a public space and I start a new novel and I'm just a few pages in, I'm like ashamed. I'm like, no, I promise I'm not a fake and new reader. I am seasoned. I promise this is not my first rodeo, and I don't know why, because like I just don't want to be perceived as a fake reader, which is still so stupid because who cares? But anyway, just let me know in the comments if you do this yourself or am I just crazy. But it's very interesting. So this is like an older published novel by Jacqueline Hartman, who was born in Etterbeek, Belgium in 1929, and her family fled to Casablanca when the Nazis invaded and only returned home after the war. After studying French literature, and she started training to be a doctor, but could not complete her training due to contracting tuberculosis. She turned to writing in 1954, and her her first work was published in 1958. I Who Have Never Known Men was her first novel to be translated in English and was originally published with the title The Mistress of Silence. So the author sadly has passed away in 2012. I love this book. I love its calmness and I love its unwillingness to give its secret away. This book is a puzzle that cannot be solved, and it's not supposed to be solved because basically the novel is in the process of discovering itself. I don't know how to explain it. It's very interesting. So I told you it's about these 40 women who have been locked in a bunker for a long time and they've been stripped away from a lot of things. And I think the main idea of the novel is how much humanity is intrinsic, how much remains after a lot of things are stripped away, like culture and education, and it's like super interesting. But yeah. I moved location and I am at Waterstones right now. I am 50 pages in. We have these 40 women locked in a bunker. A lot of them have very hazy memories, and our narrator is the youngest one, be around 14 or 15. She hasn't had her period yet, so they're like, "You're the youngest one. You were a child when you were here." So they're like, "We don't know why you're here. The rest of us are old." But it's really interesting because she feels very marginalized because all these women refuse to share knowledge with her about what they remember about the normal world. Because she's like, what is love? What is like making love? How we're men? She doesn't know how to read. She doesn't know how to do anything. She's basically stripped of everything cultural or educational. The other women have this vague memories, but they all think they have been drugged coming here in this bunker. They also seem to follow this very hectic and not at all like a normal world schedule. They're like, I think we're sleeping less and I think our days are shorter, so why are they keeping this pattern? So yeah, this young girl is like, she hates all these women because they're like kind of settled with the idea they're gonna be here forever and they don't care, and they're like, why should we tell you about these things? It doesn't matter, you're never gonna get out of here. Anyway, she starts counting her heartbeats to kind of measure time, and she tells one of these older women out, she's like, I had this blah 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 since I went to sleep. And the other women are starting to get this like feeling of rebellion. They're like, oh, we can like measure time in this way. And then I feel like with days, this enthusiasm kind of dies in the women. Even if we do this, even if we try to figure it out why they're doing this, it doesn't matter. We'll never get out of here. And then at page 50, our narrator said, I was no longer excluded. I had earned my place among them, even though all I could do was listen. But this didn't last long because suddenly there was a major event. So we get a little bit of a plot twist. So yeah, I'm gonna keep reading. I haven't finished a book in one day in so long. I am unwell. I haven't read with so much hunger in so freaking long. I have never read a book with so much hope, but at the same time, no hope at all, ever. You guys know what I told you in the beginning about these ladies in the bunker, and then something happens and they escape. I'm not going to tell you anything else what happens from there because I don't want to spoil the story for you. I would describe this as a dystopian, but I feel like this is very genre bending. It's very, I could not put this in a category. The silence about what happened to this world is louder than anything I could have ever imagined. I don't know, guys, if you want to be got my life into pieces, this book carries a sadness like no other. I was gonna give you guys a spoiler review of this because I was like, no one's gonna read it, but now I implore you, pick up I Who Have Never Known Men by Jacqueline Hapman. This came out so long ago and was not popular at all. It only started being popular in the last few years, but I can see why with what's happening in the world and people going back to more dystopian works like Handmaid's Tales and stuff like that. Please.
Where's my big dog at? Where's my big dog? Where's my big dog? There's my big dog. What up, big dog? Big dog. Big dog! What up, player?
Ah!
Love you, big dog.
Anyways, I'm not sure what book I'm gonna start next, but please do yourself a favor and read this, especially because you can just read it in one day.
You finished that? You started that this morning.
It's only 200 pages.
I've only read 86 of my book. 81.
Whose fault is that?
Hers.
Oh, I know what we're reading. Strange Houses by Ketsu. This is supposed to be like a mystery, thriller, crime, horror kind of little mix-up. A sinister hidden room, a dead space between two walls, a sealed cellar, a child's face glimpsed at a window. Every house hides secrets, but some secrets are far darker than others. We're reading this. I've seen some of you telling me that you loved strange pictures, so I'm gonna read this for you and tell you if it's as good as the first one. We might actually finish 2 books in one day because this is what these books do to me. I've read already 70 pages, and trust me, I only read a little bit after I told you I'm gonna read, and then I played some video games with my boyfriend and watched some TV, but I read 70 pages. Let me tell you a little bit about what's happening already so you understand how addictive these books are. So we have this guy, and he is he's a freelance writer, and his specialty is stories of the macabre. Doesn't matter now. Anyway, he's like very invested in stuff like murders and stuff like that. One of his friends, one day, he was like, listen, me and my wife want to buy this house, but we've noticed this strange little thing in the plan of the house. I'm gonna take videos of the little thing and I'm gonna put it here so you see. So in this little house, the guy was like, listen, you can see the plan of the first floor and the second floor, and the first floor has this weird little thing in the kitchen, this extra space that seems very strange, and we don't understand why it's there. Could you give your opinion? And this other guy was like, okay, I'm gonna ask my friend who's an architect. And he sends these plans to the architect, and the architect is like, listen, that's not that strange. That's just like maybe they wanted to make into a pantry, and then maybe halfway they realized they don't have money, so they gave up on the idea, so the space is just there. That's not that strange. What I find strange is that on the first floor, you can see that the child's room has no windows, first of all, and then the entrance is very segregated. It's very weird. You have to go around the perimeter, the room, to go into the room. Another thing is he has just a toilet, like this is like a present for the kid. There's no windows. He has a toilet, and the only way to go out of the room is through the parents' room. Anyways, and he was like, there's a couple of strange things, blah, blah, blah. And then the other guy was like, look, what I found strange is if you overlap these 2 stories, the first room and second room, it looks like that weird crawl space in the kitchen might be like a secret passage for the kid to get out and go into the bathroom. So they came up with this thing because these people who made this weird house, they moved out of the house a year later, and they were like, that's strange. And then they came up with this very crazy idea that these parents probably had the extra bedroom down there for guests, and then when a guest would visit, they would be like, listen, if you're tired, we have a bathroom, you can take a bath and sleep over. And then they would send the kid from his room through the passage and kill people in the bathroom. And the idea is like this family is murderers, and this is how like it started. But then he's this little man who's a writer, he's like, nah, that's crazy, but I'm gonna put this on my blog, don't give too much details, and see if anyone comes out with a story or something. And someone was like, yeah, I think my husband was killed in that house. And the cool thing is, I'm probably put it already on the screen, but yeah, the cool thing about this thing is like, you don't have to like try and imagine these things. They're gonna be here. That's why it's whole like strange houses. I don't know, but yeah, I'm gonna continue reading tonight, and we might finish this. Okay guys, I'm literally crashing out because of my period. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. I'm having like the worst time. My period came today, so bear with me, please. So, I did not update you last night because it was super late, but I finished this yesterday as well. I finished 2 books in a day, which is fucking insane. I haven't done that in so long. You know what? These books, don't get me wrong, they're not like work of art, master of its craft, but they are entertaining as shit. I will say that. Someone asked me, can you read Strange Houses before Strange Pictures? I actually recommend you guys reading this one first, then reading Strange Pictures, because this one was easier to follow than Strange Pictures. This one has only kind of one main focus plan, main plot, whereas that one goes back and forth and it's just like harder to piece things together. This one was way easier to go through. There's a third book coming out in March next year, which I'm excited. It's called Strange Buildings. I will definitely buy that. I will definitely continue reading these. They're so easy to read. You're like flying through them because there are usually like, look at this, just 2 pages of like full drawings. So you just get that feeling of advancement and reading a lot without actually doing it. So it's really, really satisfying. Today is probably going to be the last day of this reading vlog because I think tomorrow Alchemist comes out, and please Lord, deliver that book during the same day, because I got the signed Waterstone special edition, which is sold out right now. I tried to go and order it so I pick it up, but it's sold out. So I pre-ordered that back in March or April. Like, so you understand how much I want this book. Also, I honestly had a crash out like 2 or 3 days ago because I've seen that. I was like, they're not gonna send ARCs, but I've seen like packages sent from Michael J. Books to people in UK a few days before the release, and like, I'm not gonna get one. I didn't get one, and I'll be honest, this is the first time in my life when I felt like I acted like a spoiled brat, and I felt like I was like, I should have gotten this, which is dumb, but it broke my heart. I had a crash out. I cried because I didn't get. I was like, why am I not good enough? I literally cried. I literally have a tattoo of this book. I am obsessed. So I had a crash out, but tomorrow the book is coming out. So yeah, we're gonna stop this vlog and we'll probably do a completely like Alchemist focused reading vlog, because like, come on, it's also like 1,000 pages. I don't think I can fit that in this vlog. But yeah, right now I'm gonna pick something to read, and I have 2 more minutes of this recording. I'm in between these two because if I'm gonna get a book tomorrow, if I'm gonna get Alchemist tomorrow, I need to finish something. So I was thinking either The Wax Child, it's super tiny, or Old Soul, because it's not that big and I feel like it would be easier to read. But let me charge this and I'll see you guys. Okay, if you're asking, is she wearing that same hoodie from yesterday and she keeps wearing it? Yes, because this is the most comfortable hoodie and I am on my period and you don't get to say anything. Anyways, I'm 17 pages in this and I feel too dumb to read this right now. I think my mind is in too big of a period fog to read this. This is so abstract and it's for smart people. And I am smart, but my period brain is not that smart. So I think I'm going to change this and read something else. Can you please get me a book from there? Because I don't want to move.
Yes, madam.
Can you give me Old Soul by Susan Barker? And can you put this one back, please? Thank you. That's very kind of you.
This is not a library.
But yes, we're reading this one because I need something easier. Where's my cherry ripe? Did you give it to me?
Your period brain is really something else.
My cherry ripe. Let me give you a little update about this. I'm 50 pages in, but I want to give you a little bit of a description of what this book is about. So we meet these 2 characters, which is this guy and this girl, this lady. They meet in the Osaka airport in Japan because they both lose their flight. They buy tickets for tomorrow's flight and then they go to the hotel and they both run into each other at a convenience store at night trying to get something for dinner. And the lady's like, she is a very first class put together, very fancy lady, and he's just like a normal dude. And she looks in his basket and she's like, are you really gonna eat that? And she's like, let's go to dinner at my hotel. And they go to dinner at her hotel and they just talk about life in general, blah blah, until this lady kind of gets upset that she's like, I'm kind of a cold person, but she's like very strict about how she lives her life. And anyway, she has her first drink in like 9 years or something like that because she's like upset. And then she gets drunk, so he takes her to her room and she kind of like, she's drunk, so she starts opening up about her life. And her brother, who's like, my brother used to be the opposite of me. And anyway, she's drunk and she's like sharing the fact that her brother died, and she starts oversharing how he died. So Mariko, which is the lady, says Hiroji is her brother. Hiroji told me this god had marked him out, that it had moved all his insides about so that they weren't his anymore. Then he said that I was marked out too because we were twins and his flesh was my flesh and my flesh his flesh. So long as he was living and we were connected, it would come for me. This like weird thing. And then Mariko didn't seem to notice as she went on that Jake, which is the guy, starts to recognize these patterns, and there's a sort of familiarity in her words that he recognizes. Mariko said, Hiroji said that he was going to our bamboo forest to make another sacrifice. I asked what he meant by another sacrifice, and he only said if the sacrifice didn't work, he'd be dead by morning. Also, her brother told her, don't let her in. She'll leave you alone when I'm gone. Then he hung up, and then the next morning he was found dead. And then Jake said, how did he die? Because he was like, he got the goosebumps from the familiarity of it. He started like asking all these questions. How did he die? Did the post-mortem find anything strange? Were his internal organs the wrong way around, like reversed? Mariko's like, yes, how did you know that? Also, Mariko had this woman appear at her building that her brother like kind of told her about, and he was like, don't let her in. All of a sudden the girl knocks on her door. She knows her name and she still doesn't answer, so she doesn't let her in, and all's fine. She mentioned this to the police after she found out like her brother died and the investigation, blah blah blah, and they looked on the footage and there was no woman on the footage. We didn't get to that part of the story, but from what I understood so far, Jake has his friend Lena that I think died in the same way that Mariko's brother died, the same exact weird circumstances. And now so far we've been reading about Mariko's brother, and it's very sinister, very spooky. I love it. I think it's perfect for the Burr months. Even like the cover, very eerie. Good morning, cuties. I wasn't sure I was gonna continue with this vlog today because I was like, oh, Alchemized is gonna get delivered, but joke on me, my book has not been dispatched, and I have a bone to pick with Waterstones, because why do you have the pre-order function if I'm still not gonna get it before the people in the store? Like I get that is the pre-order so you can like secure your stock, but send it 3 days before so we'll get the day of. Like I have anyway, so I don't think it will be delivered today. I think it's gonna be delivered tomorrow, and I was thinking to like buy the normal version or the Kindle version, but that just screams crazy, I'll be honest. So I'm just gonna patiently wait, and I feel like this was a sign of the universe giving me a chance to finish the book that I've started, because I did read. Oh wow, I'm almost halfway into it. This is very interesting, but I think it gets lost in the sauce a little bit, the author, because at some point I was reading, because it goes back and forth between these two chapter formats. One, testimonials from other people who have encountered this weird lady that takes photographs of people and then they die. So he goes and gets testimonial of people. And then we get a present day of this girl who's like, I think it's very enigmatic what she is and why she needs to kill people, but we also need a present day of her, I think, trying to get her next victim. But in between that and the testimonials go so long that at some point I was reading and I was like, what's the original point of this book? And the other thing is, I have not encountered an author that does this. This is my first time. They don't use quotation mark for dialogue or any type of like demarcation, and it's just, and I'm just like, I don't know. I find it quite confusing. Not confusing, but I find it annoying. This. As much as we all would like to read all the books that are 5 stars and all the books that are like the best, I don't think this was it. I think the idea of it was super good and the start of it was very strong. It sucked me right in, but the execution was lacking. I feel like the author came up with the idea, but she never had an inkling of where the story will go. And she said, I'll just make it up as I go. And I feel like she got lost in the sauce and she got lost in the story because it was so anticlimactic. The characters made no sense. I feel like the characters changed so much from the beginning to the end, and not in a good, like, developing way, but more in like, is this character the same character? This for me is probably like 2.5 stars. I would not recommend this. I think there are better horror or lit horror books out there, so that's all I'm gonna say. I think I'm gonna end this reading vlog here. I'll just go and apply for some jobs because I'm moving in a few weeks. But yes, let me know if you guys enjoyed this video. Make sure to like it and subscribe to my channel, and I'll see you guys into the next one. It's probably gonna be a live reaction to Alchemized vlog, so stand by. Okay, bye.